Good day guys, welcome back to Langrisser M news from the future, and on part 2 of this video for the month of February to March and 2025. Sorry, Samu is apparently voiced by the voice actor Yoshimasa Hosoya-san. So if you guys find his name familiar or unfamiliar, this is the following, recent years' famous works. So, ta-da! On the left, we have Kido Senshi Gundam, Iron Blood Office, and yep, the character he voices Olga Iska. Not very familiar with the work, so sorry if I mispronounce her name. On the right, the characters a lot of fans like and perhaps some take pity on is Lina Brown from the anime Shingeki no Kyojin Attack on Titan. Well, the usual joke, I guess, he got isekai like Eren Yeager. Eren Yeager has got isekai earlier than him to the world of Langrisser third arc, Gay Pies, as a world, and now he is being reincarnated as a Langrisser Millennium, one of the villain, Samu. So yep, a little background. So the destroy he's the prince of the now destroyed kingdom of Beowulf, Beast King. So he used to, this says he has a very calm and cool personality, but after the destruction of his kingdom, in order to protect his sister, the thoughts of protection or trying to protect kind of caused him to become crazy or haywire, and in returns he got to put on this burden of sins on his back, facing alone this unchangeable ending. He chose to use the rest of his life to pay it. Also, what is being described here, I'm not sure if it's talking about him causing the death of Mama Tiana. So it sounds like his personality as Lina Brown, oh gosh, just okay. Lina, he has this guilt trip feeling after killing his teammate or ex-teammate. So okay, this is some of the relationship he has every character. So this is his younger sister, Marka era. So the usual stuff. After the country is destroyed, they wanted to excel. In order to survive, they had no choice but to hide their name and live in disguise. So Makara lives as a dancing maiden, and after reuniting with her brother Shem, Samu, she put on all her trust and hopes onto him. And the status of our story, Mama Tiana, aka Lana 3.0, some we may call it, because after taking off the mask, that's the face of Lana. So in order to protect his sister, Sam become, or how do I call it? He become a heartless person, or he's being heartless to Shion too by killing the stepmom, Mama Tiana. So yep, he's the culprit, and because of this act, it caused the pain to both Shion and also himself. So like after killing Mama Tiana, then he felt this guilt trip thought. So this has put in as a seed of guilt in Samu's heart. Okay, this is his chibi character's art. Oops, sorry. And okay, we have come to the end of part 1 and we are going to part 2. Before that, let's hear out his voice pack. Here we go.
見たことのない世界だが懐かしさを感じる。あ、失礼。初めてお会いするな。私のことはセムと呼んでくれ。
Oh my god. If just hearing this voice pack and I do not tell you this is from Langrisser M, I believe more, or if not most of the fans will thought this is Liner, the armor titan from Shingeki no Kyojin, straight up. He's definitely using the same voice line as a character. So alright, they're saying, what he's saying in his summon speech, it's a world that I have not seen before, but it has a very familiar aura. Oh, I'm sorry for the intrusions, or sorry for not being polite. Oh, first time meeting you? You can just call me Shem. So yep, this is his intro speech. Let's hear it again.
見たことのない世界だが懐かしさを感じる。あ、失礼。初めてお会いするな。私のことはセムと呼んでくれ。
So alright, this is the end of part 1 and we'll be going to part 2, the main dish. So watch to the end for the English translations I've done for you guys. Here we go. Featuring Semu from the Langrisser WS, and this is the elder brother of Makaera. Well, his name is spelled as Shem, so I'm not sure when the English version come out. We'll be calling him Shem, Shemu, or Shame. And yep, I prefer to call him Shame because of what he did to Mama Tiana. So before we carry on, a great thanks to Mission Chat and provided by the Langrisser mobile app. Monghwa Maizan Soyu. Are you guys ready? Let's get started. So alright, we are back and on part 2. So are you guys ready? And in case you guys are wondering if Samuel is, good, bad in PvE and PvP, I got to tell you guys, one great thing about him is he do not get 1 exclusive skill, not 2 exclusive skills, but 3 exclusive skills. So he is definitely a powerhouse in this current meta. Stay tuned with me and here we go. So alright, before I carry on about his faction buff and other skills, further expansions about his background stories a little bit more. So well, I'll be skipping the first part here because it says repeated stuff about him being the prince of a deceased kingdom, the Beowulf king. So he buried every thought deep in his heart. So after the destruction of his kingdom, he surrendered to the invaders. He has experienced, not insults. I said the word, it's always a wrong word I use. It's not insult, but he has experienced humiliations and torture from the invaders. But afterwards, he still tried to, try his best to revive the light, or the light of the recovering flag or light flags of his Beowulf kingdom, trying to do his parents proud. So alright, now we are really getting to the main dish, and he is from the following faction. Number 1, Origin of Light. Number 2, Meteor, and number 3, Yellers. So if I'm not wrong, we have not yet received 3C Meteor faction buff yet, so we have more stuff, to stay tuned. Then we already have Yellow's faction buff, but it's a new, I'm not sure should we say it, a new faction buff or 1C faction buff that is from one of the best characters that's gonna be staying with us for a very, very long time. That is Empress Anyara. So this is a 3 factions. So I guess the worst we had is Origin of Light. That is until if they give us a new Origin of Light faction buff that is stronger and better, because the current one we had are not that good or not that much being used for the meta. The characters are already, you know, out of the box. So right, for his talent, okay, looks short and sweet. The talent are as follow. Number 1, increase damage deal by 20%. Also, all the stats are for rank 6. Same new. Okay, number 1, increase damage deal by 20%. Number 2, when you enter, gain 1 layer of Bloodline's Crown buff. Okay, we will call it BC buff. BBC, sorry, sorry, BC buff for short. So BC buff has the following effect. First, increase stats by 8% excluding HP. Second, the effect lasts for 3 turns. Third, you can stack up to 3 layers for the buff. Fourth, this buff cannot be dispelled. Okay, that's the effect. Then number 3 for his effect is talent effect. After you enter, deal 0.1 times AoE damage to enemies 2 blocks around you. Number 4, for each layer of BBC stacks you have, increase the AoE damage by 0.05 times. Max you will gain up to 0.15 times for damage. So he is a character with free wind gale for you, and the max is he can deal up to 0.5 times AoE wind gales to enemies around him. So let me double check. It's 2 blocks. So it's 2 blocks. The range is slightly up. It is a normal wind gale effect. And not to mention, this is from his talent, so it's not a passive. You do not have to worry about it being disabled. Okay, so as you can see, he has damage increment effect. Then the only downside right now is every time he enters, then he will gain 1 layer of BC buff. So right, his effect is greatly similar to the characters. Oh gosh, what's his name? The lover of Lucretia, the one who likes her. What's that guy? Oh gosh, trying to ring a bell. What's his name again? Oh gosh, from Langrisser Reincarnations. Okay, if you guys remember, the characters came out with Lucretia. We call him the fake emperor. So his talent is greatly similar to his. He'll gain stats, but Shem is an upgrade. The extra is like a combination of just 2 heroes. One is from the fake emperor, and second is he gained this wind gale effect. So as long as he enters, he don't have to attack. You automatically deal 0.1 times minimum AoE damage to enemies 2 blocks around you. Then okay, sorry about it. I've been trying to find the character's name. Oh gosh, what's his name? Lucretia. Oh, Autocrato got the 4th, aka the fake emperor. So yep, he has very similar talents effects from his. So he's pretty straightforward, which a lot of players like and prefer to know. He's not as unique as Makaira. So right, exclusive skill 1, the Path of Atonement. So It's a 1C skills. The CD range and AoE type are known, and it is a passive skills only. So the effect are as follow. Number 1, for each enemy you damage, recover 15% of your max HP. Number 2, if the damage deal is using AoE, you will get to reduce skill CD with the current longest CD you hold on to. But the max CD you will reduce is 3 turns only. So this is pretty cool because it can apply to both single target or AoE, though you get more benefit using AoE. So first thing, for each enemies you do damage, you recover 15% of max HP. Then the second is, if you're using AoE, you get to reduce any skills that is currently has the longest CD, and the max you can reduce is 3 turns. That's not too bad. And later on we'll find out more pros and cons and see if this passive skills actually works with his talent, because his talent will deal 0.1 times AoE damage. If it stacks and work, that will be very cool and awesome. Okay, moving on to exclusive skill 2. Metzan. Okay, destroying slash. Another 1C skills, has a CD of 110. The range is 6 block, so it is an AoE skill. It's a physical straight line AoE. So the effects are as follow. Number 1, deal 0.2 times AoE damage to enemies in the straight line. Number 2, for every enemy and defensive terrain in range, increase the skill range by 1 block. So this is basically like a similar to reinforce AoE. This like is, I'm not sure if this is an exclusive new skills, but I may be wrong, but I'm not sure if this is a repeated skill, so sorry about it. But it seems this should be a new skills. 0.2 times damage is pretty low, but for every enemies on defensive terrain or in range, you increase these skills by 1 block. I don't remember reinforce straight line AoE have this extensions abilities, so I may be wrong. Okay, then let's move on to exclusive skill 3. Okay, but in case you guys are wondering about the extension of skill is, meaning this skill is only a 6 block range, but if there is any for each enemies or each defensive terrain you're in range, it will add on to the range for the skills by 1 block. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So if there's 1 enemy and 1 defensive terrain, this skills become a 8 block AoE. Cool. Oh yeah, this is different from the Lane Force skills that is Sonic Blade. So this is definitely a new skills. That's pretty cool. Yep, definitely a new skill. So exclusive skill 3. Okay, that's cool. I didn't get my data wrong. That's cool. Save. Alright, exclusive skill 3, God's Punishment. So it's a 2C skills, a CD of 3 turns. It's a 2 block range skills. The AoE type is physical 2 blocks. So I guess this is his air slash of his version. Okay, the effect are as follow. Number 1, teleport to the skill cast point and deal 0.3 times damage to enemies 2 blocks around you. Number 2, cause damage to enemies and gain the following debuff for 2 turns. So first, enemies cannot be able to act again. Second, they are not able to receive buff effects. Third, number 3, if you move 3 blocks or more before casting these skills, increase this skill's cast range by 2 blocks. Oops, sorry, so overall this is not like a air slash, this is a semi single target or AO, sorry, it's semi AO, sorry, it's a AOE skills. So it's very weird. So basically you just teleport to the minimum. If you do not move 3 blocks or more, your teleport cast point is only 2 blocks. Then you will be dealing 0.3 times AOE damage to enemies 2 blocks around you. But the great things about this skills is that it will cause the following debuff. Enemies cannot act again and they cannot receive buff. This is a very great skill. Causing enemies not to be able to act again would definitely slow down or mess up their synergy with the whole characters, the momentum of advancing fighting characters. And last but not least, number 3, if you move 3 blocks or more before casting these skills, increase the skill range by 2 blocks. So I'm not sure if the skill range refers to, okay, I'm not sure if it talking about the teleportations. It becomes from 2 blocks to 4 blocks, or instead of damaging enemies 2 blocks around you to 4 blocks around you. We will find out more during the pros and cons in a while. I got to find out too, sorry about it. But nonetheless, this skill is pretty awesome. And last but not least, his 3C. Destruction and punishment, or bind. Okay, so you can go into 2 types of translations. The first being translated as destruction and punishment, or the second known as bind, destroy, rob, and punish. Okay, this skill has a CD of 5 turns. The range is 3 blocks. The AoE type is physical single target. So this is definitely his single target skills. Okay, and straight up he has this command aura effect. So he has both command aura and active skills. We'll be going through all the command aura first. Number 1, all allies on the field will dispel 1 buff from enemies after dealing AoE damage to them. Number 2, after an ally deals AoE damage, this skill's holder will gain 1 layer of BBC. BC, gosh. Oh gosh, that sounds like big. Okay. So this is definitely a very strong. This is definitely one of the strongest command aura because it's a global command aura effect, and you do not have to worry about which faction you're on. As long as Samuel is alive on the field, this effects will happen. So all allies on the field will dispel 1 bar from enemies as long as you deal AoE damage to them. This is, I presume, a great counter against the recently highly rated LLR hero Papa Vargas, aka the Dragon Slayer. So without all the buff, he's gonna be weaker and easier to deal with. But of course, this is just my perspective. This is just this mainly talking about PvP, because PvE wise it's still great. You can deal this to a lot of enemies. Then second is after allies deal AoE damage, it will help Samuel to gain his talent charge effect faster. So on his own talent, the effect starts with each time he enters, he'll gain 1 layer of BBC, which increases his stats by 8%. So you can let all your other allies to fight against enemy and cast AoE damage, and they will gain 1 layer straight up. Okay, a quick thought. This is definitely a great combination with his sister Macaera, because Macaera, each time she enters any enemy, first enemy in front of her in straight line will take an AoE damage from herself, and this will quickly let him gain at least 1 layer. And of course, not just Macaera, there are perhaps other heroes with similar abilities that will, quickly help speed up this effect. So it's pretty cool, awesome command aura. They're definitely one of the best in years. First thing, you can let your allies dispel enemies as long as they do AoE damage, any form of AoE damage. And not to mention, second, in return, once they do AoE damage, it will help Samus to gain his talent quickly as fast as possible. Okay, that's it for Command Aura. Moving on to active. Number 1, teleport to the empty space closest to the target enemy and deal 1.6 times enemies to them, 1.6 times damage to them. So the range is 3 blocks, so teleport to the empty 3 block space closest to the target enemies and do 1.6 times damage to them. Second, number 2, if it is a range attack, soldiers will attack together. Number 3, dispel 5 buff from enemies before battle. Number 4, after battle, gain 2 turns buff effect for Samus. First, reduce damage taken from enemies 2 blocks around you. Second, before battle, deals 0.2 times AoE damage to enemies 2 blocks around you. Third, this effect cannot be dispelled. Number 5, for each layer of BC you had, the following will happen. First, increase this skill range by 1 block, maximum cap at 3. Second, increase battle damage deal by 7%, cap at 21%. Okay, overall this is a very great 3C skills. It is a great support and offensive abilities back to back. The Command Aura, global effect, any allies. Then this effect is a teleportation effect, so you can teleport and get close to the enemies. And the only downside I read here is that currently it just states close combat soldiers will, if it's a range attack, your soldiers will attack together. However, you will definitely got to take close combat penalty because it does not state yet. We'll find out more during the pros and cons later. And like other leading abilities, best abilities, they will dispel 5 buff from enemies before the battle. But the great stuff about this skills is whether enemies dies or not, after the battle you'll straight up gain this buff effect. So damage reduction, it's not strangers to you guys, but it is a damage reduction of 50%. So I forgot to mention that, sorry about that. So 50% damage reduction, that is a lot. The usual normal situation you gain is like 15% damage reduction to a maximum of 20-30%, but 50% damage reduction, that will greatly ensure your survivabilities. There's a high chance that you can even tank 2 to 3 hits before your demise. Then last but not least, what I like most is before battle, deal 0.2 times AoE damage to enemies 2 blocks around you. So you get worried for your rest of a teammate because he'll definitely teleport to the Eye of a Storm, or well, the Eye of the enemy storms. So each turn only one allies can move. So if the ally is trying to move away and intend to proceed to attack you, they gotta watch out because the 0 times AoE damage might kill off or take away their allies before you die. So it's one character in exchange for perhaps minimum 1 or more characters together, depending on your character stats. Then the rest is not too bad. You get range increment and also increase battle damage, so there's a higher chance that enemies might die or will die. And that's it for Sam. We'll now go to part 3 where we will talk more about his pros and cons of the skills. Here we go. So, alright, we have come to the last part where we'll be talking about the pros and cons of the characters. And this is Acolyte skin from Shem. And before we carry on, a great thanks to information provided by the Langrisser Data Bank. And here we go. So, alright, for Samuel's effect, he is both a PvE and PvP characters after some testing. Okay, this is in combination with its 3C that any ally who deals damage will allow him to gain one layer of his talent BC effect. So this is a following animations clip we can see when doing a combo with a system Makaera. So you already gain one stack. Then the second effect is his Wind Gale. After ending turn, he will deal 0.2 times AoE damage to enemies, minimum 0.1 times around him. So with max stack with his talent buff is 0.25 times. So you can stack. This is treated as a skills effect, so you can stack with Balance Blade to further increase the range, or Bloodthirst Sword to further do additional fixed damage, or Demon Slayers to dispel buff and add debuff. So those are the following weapon you can use to do combo with his talent. That's pretty cool. So as you can see, this is more than 2 block. This is with Balance Blade. So if you bring Balance Blade, it will become 3 block. So okay, this is some detailed information for you. Then regarding the 3C, so the 3C is a common aura, so it definitely applies to all allies. Then after using AoE dealing damage, you can dispel one buff from enemy, and at the same time add on to a layer of buff to himself. That's pretty cool. Then how his 3C actually works is fairly similar to the Wolf King Gun from the Echo of Toy War story. So you can teleport, then you attack. However, the teleportation's effect for Samuel is even more AI accurate and better than Gun, because when your chosen target is being surrounded in cross formation, upon teleporting, Samuel will not try to stick directly beside, as close to enemy, and without doing anything, he and his soldiers will still commence the range attack and still do full-blown damage. And there's the following animations on how it works. So if you guys remember, the lone Wolf King Gun, his 3C is basically useless if the enemies are being surrounded by the other allies. Your character's AI will just jam and stand on the original positions. But that's not the case for Gun. Sorry, that's not the case for Samuel. So as we say, the best thing is after battle, deal 0. Any enemies 2 blocks in range will do 50% damage reduction against you, and if they try to initiate attack or goes into battle before that, you will deal 0.25 times AoE damage to them. So the following animation shows how it works. So it's pretty cool. Like if you have Bloodthirst Sword, before battle, they will take this AoE damage, and with a little bit of luck, if fixed damage triggers, there might be a chance the enemies might die from the fixed damage. Or if not, you have Demon Slayers with you, you can cause additional debuff to the enemies. Sorry, we are talking about the increment of the range. So the damage and range can increase by stacking up your talent's BC effect. So each layer increase 1 block and increase damage by 7%. So the maximum the range can stack up to is 6 block, and damage increment is 21%. So you guys can see, you can choose to target this far. So there's a very far single target abilities. Okay, this is a skills that I'm definitely into it to find out more. That is his exclusive skill 1, the passive skills, the Path of Atonement. So let's see what they say if it stacks with the talent effect. So when you bring along your skills or equip with your skills to him, for each enemies that you deal damage with, you can recover Samuel's HP by 15%. And if you do damage through your talent, the AoE damage, you can further reduce the longer skills you had that you bring along. So any AoE, be it talent or from the skills that Samus bring along, will trigger the CD reduction effect. So this greatly increase his rounds of AoE barrage against the enemy, because he can quickly recycle the skill. This is pretty cool. Because before and after battle, at least one AoE effect will be triggered or used, and if that happens, your skills will be CD reduction will be cooldown. That's pretty cool, and it's free. There is no limit to his Wind Guild talent effect. There's no CD. As long as you enter every turn, the AoE damage will occur. So that's definitely pretty cool. And not to mention, he has this Sword Blade Aura passive. That you can stack on with his talent. That's pretty cool. Double AoE. And any of it triggers will recover your HP. So let's check it out again. So this is the first skill he casts. You recover HP, then followed by your talent's Wind Guild, you will again recover HP. So this, he becomes a very tanky attacker. That is pretty cool. Okay, regarding his exclusive skill 2 or 3, Heaven's Punishment. So these skills will change depending on the way your moving pattern and from the point you cast the skills. So if you move greater than 3 blocks, the skill cast range will increase by 2 blocks, reaching to a maximum of 4 blocks. Then it will cause a debuff to enemies not able to act again and unable to receive buff. So this is definitely very useful in PvP. So this is increment for the cast range, but not the skill damage range. Okay, so still not too bad. So I guess the better option, if you want to increase the range, is bring Balance Blade. So the AoE range will become 3 blocks instead of 2, if that's not enough for you. Okay, regarding the other exclusive skill 2, Destroying Slash. So okay, this skill's original start off with a range of 6 block. However, if in the range there is other defensive terrain or enemy, you will increase by +1, and theoretically there is no cap limit. So first off, there is no cap limit, so it depends on the map you're on. If it's a map full of defensive terrain with enemies, you can see this AoE skills will just reach to the end, so that's pretty cool. Okay, see the enemies, then followed by the forests and the mountains. Your range will go up to the end. The only great downside is it only deals 0.2 times AoE damage. Okay, combinations of the skills, I'll skip it because it depends on your playstyle, but just a quick one is you'll bring along 3C, then with Sword Aura, the passive Sword Aura, then you'll bring in the Purgatory Demon, dealing additional fixed damage as a skill combinations. So okay, this is following is a short clip about how they use him to fight the Forbidden Beginning, the Poison Dragon. So you can see before I proceed, it says the first time is 3C, the AoE from 3C, second is from the fixed damage of Blood Sword, then third is normal attack, which additionally triggers the Blood Sword effect. Fifth time is the demon unit he brings that deals fixed damage, again 15% fixed damage. Then the sixth time is from the Sword Aura effect. Then seventh time is Blood Sword fixed damage. The eighth time is your talent's AoE damage. The ninth time is again fixed damage from the weapon Blood Sword. So this is the type of crazy damage he is able to perform with the skills that he bring, and along with the combinations with the weapons he bring. So here we go. Alright, total of 9 combinations. First is 3C and AoE damage, followed by second is fixed damage from weapon, third is normal attack damage, fourth is the weapon triggers again, fifth the soldiers fixed damage, sixth is great aura effect, seventh fixed damage, eighth time is talent, and the 9 is from fixed damage from his weapon. Sorry, sorry for while we got to tilt around. So something wrong is going on the side. Once you play the video, I can't display it in landscape, so do just adjustment. So right, that's it for Senate. So this is the bond he need. So okay, it's pretty cool. Same as Makaera. Only for defensive bonds you will need Makaera, and the same goes on Makaera. If she needs to unlock a defensive bond, then you will need Semu. So attacking bond wise is not big of an issue, especially for PvP players, you guys PvP players out there. So that's pretty cool. Okay, this is the following materials you'll need for unlocking your rune emblem or casting from level 1 to level 10. Then this is stats for his, well, infantry and demon class. Okay, I'll definitely go for the demon class. I'll take my chance. And actually that's a case going on for the CN PvP meta right now. Everyone take their chance using the demon class so that he can survive better. And not to mention, great news for you guys, the demon class path, his mobility is 4 blocks instead of 3, and in addition he can be equipped with sword, hammer, dagger and heavy armor. Then for his Heartborn, for infantry, it's okay. First off, for infantry at level 4 and level 7. Level 4, if unit HP is lower than 70%, when going into battle, damage received reduced by 10%. Okay, for level 7, when unit has 6 or more buff, AoE damage increased by 10%. Okay, Demon Path. Level 4, when unit HP is 80% or more, is higher than 80%, crit rate you receive reduced by 10%. Level 7, when being attacked into battle, your damage will increase by 10%. So based on bond wise, infantry class seems better because you have AoE damage increment of 10%, but then again, stats wise, I think the demon class will make up for the loss as of the current meta, because in this current meta, thanks to Papa Vargas, a lot of heroes has changed their class from holy to non-holy class. Okay, this is a list of skills he had. Okay, this is the sword aura we're talking about, the sword slash or sword aura, the passive skill, so you deal 0.1 times AoE damage, so that's pretty strong, dealing a lot of damage to the characters. So alright guys, thank you for watching. We have come to the end of the video. Last but not least, this is the suggested item builds and equipment and enchantment for Samuel. So, and of course this time around has some additional comments. So for PvE wise, the top part you see 4.5 star is for him rushing small stages, those storyline stages. He can be used to rush them off. He is a very good hero to do that, 4.5 stars. Then overall PvE rating is 3 stars, whereas for PvP, for AoE team is 4.5 stars. But the overall it's 3 stars, but then again, as of the current meta, I've been seeing a lot more potentials to that. So this is just for a rough guidance, may or may not be that accurate. Then the suggested enchantment is, well, magic, or if some of you like, you can go with Full Moon too. Then the weapon, so you guys, it's more highly suggested to go with Balance Blade or Bloodthirst Blade. Equipment, I'll go for the second one, where if enemies try to attack you, definitely will 100% dispel one buff from them, since his abilities already helps to dispel buff from enemies. And I guess the rest of the helmet and accessories goes with giving him high survivability. So alright, this is Kami. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe. Up next, we'll be going through on the live demo play for the 2 characters. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.